As I watch the 2025 NBA playoffs and I'm seeing Aaron Gordon make all of these outstanding plays, knocking down game winners, making clutch defensive stops, it just makes me think about how important the front office is, and not just in the game of basketball, but in all of major sports. Because we go back to the Denver Nuggets during their 2020 NBA season, they became a team that was knocking on the door of an NBA championship. And to me, that's a team that when they have this certain group of guys for the first time, that starts to win playoff series and make deep playoff runs. And that's exactly what happened with the Denver Nuggets in 2020. We saw them do something actually legendary. They became the first team ever, I believe, to win back-to-back 1-3 series, being down 1-3 in a series, beating the Utah Jazz in round one, and then the Clippers. And then they lose to the team that wins the championship in the conference finals, the Los Angeles Lakers. So all of this is added fuel for the players, to the fan base, and it puts a bunch of pressure on the front office, because when you become an organization that is knocking on the door of winning an NBA championship, every move going forward when it comes to acquiring new players, acquiring new talent is so important, whether it's through the draft, whether it's through free agency, or through the NBA trading system. So I feel like the Denver Nuggets, I feel like they completed, after seeing that they were a team knocking on the door of winning a championship, they went out and basically snatched and grabbed their championship by making one of the best trades, in my opinion, in NBA history, when they acquired Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic during the 2020-2021 NBA season. And I know it can seem like I'm exaggerating when I use terms like best trades of all time, but I'm afraid I'm not over exaggerating here when we look at all of the benefits and we look at the impact that this trade is even still having today. But the first thing I can do to support my argument is that this trade, in my opinion, it won the Denver Nuggets an NBA championship. They traded for him during the 2021 season. By the year 2023, the Denver Nuggets are NBA championships, and we look at that playoff run, they get that Western Conference Finals rematch with the team that stopped them from getting to the NBA Finals when they were knocking on the door. And who played a pivotal role in that series? It was Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, he was a matchup nightmare, and that's the thing with Aaron. We're gonna get into it, but he was a matchup nightmare for the Los Angeles Lakers. And then his physicality just wear down my GOAT James. He still plays fantastic basketball, but he is up there in age, he is up there in mileage, and banging with somebody on both sides of the ball, because you got to put LeBron on AG. He's your most physical defender, him and Rui. So banging with those two guys for over the course of a 7-game series, it's going to take a lot out of an older NBA player. So I would say Aaron Gordon, he played a huge role in helping the Denver Nuggets win an NBA championship. And then also we look at not only his impact that he's had, or his benefits that he's given the Denver Nuggets fan base, the organization, but I think he has, and don't get me wrong, man, I'm not taking no credit away from Jokic. Jokic is absolutely insane to me. I have him as one of the best basketball players in NBA history, but I think one of the reasons that I have him that high is because of the impact of Aaron Gordon. And it's not that Aaron Gordon has, taught Jokic some new moves or taught him some new different things. I think it's just the fact of him fitting so well. It just makes the game of basketball a lot easier for a guy that the game already seemed easy to. Putting Aaron Gordon next to Nikola Jokic, and we have to give props. We have to give props for the Denver Nuggets, because they were able to keep Michael Porter Jr. and they were able to keep Jamal Murray. These four guys together are crazy. When we break it down and we look at how Aaron Gordon and Jokic eat off each other, it's even crazier. So those two things right there, those would be the main, the two main bases of my argument of this being one of the best trades ever. You got an NBA championship out of it, and I think your franchise, your organization, the face of the franchise, he got significantly better. He significantly benefited from this trade as an individual as well. And then we just look at all of these things that happen out on the basketball court. And when we talk about a match made in heaven, that is what you would say with Aaron Gordon going to the Denver Nuggets and playing alongside Nikola Jokic. Now, the one thing that I love about this trade is that it gives the Denver Nuggets so much size and versatility. They have the ability to go out there and basically play three three skyscrapers, and we have to shout out the versatility to Michael Porter Jr., and Nikola Jokic as well. But being able to play these three guys out there, essentially playing three players the size of NBA bigs all around the NBA, but they don't play like bigs. It causes a lot of teams a lot of trouble. And then we look at how Jokic and Aaron Gordon, it seems like these two guys always know where each other is going to be at on the basketball court. And that's another thing I have to give huge props for the front office and for Aaron and to Aaron Gordon as well, being able to find a player. And Aaron Gordon at the time, he had the green light with the Orlando Magic. I believe he made an All-Star game and he carried them to the playoffs. But for him to come in and buy into being a role player, and then also buying in to becoming a teammate to Nikola Jokic, that's another thing that's overlooked as well. Aaron Gordon, he put in some real time to build his chemistry with Nikola Jokic, and they've become really close friends. And they pressed her not too long ago, and I'm paraphrasing, but I did hear Jokic verbally say that Aaron Gordon is the best teammate that he's ever had. But we saw Aaron Gordon after that first half season with the Denver Nuggets, that off season, he said he's going to be dedicating that to building his chemistry with Nikola Jokic and getting their own court play ready. And that takes and when you put in work off the court, spending time with each other, that's going to benefit that. So that's why we saw Aaron Gordon going to Jokic's homeland and riding horses with him. That right there, if this was 2K, that's plus 200 teammate chemistry right there. So we see that showing up on the court because these two guys always know where each other is going to be at on the basketball court. We've seen so many times where Aaron Gordon has a smaller guy sealed because a bigger guy, they're putting their bigger defenders towards Jokic, and Jokic throws an easy entry pass to Aaron Gordon. Also, it opens up the transition game. Jokic, he gets the rebound, he's looking for Aaron Gordon, or Aaron Gordon, he gets the rebound, he gets it to Jokic, and they're running the court. The Denver Nuggets has been one of the best transition teams in the NBA over the last couple of years. And then also, Aaron Gordon, don't sleep on his playmaking abilities as well. He has a bunch of dimes where he's feeding Jokic. These guys' two chemistry together is really, really good. And then Aaron Gordon is just, he learned so much. He learned so much in his time with Orlando when he was the number one guy on his team. When the Denver Nuggets do need him to throw on a cape, he does have the ability to still do that, whether it is playing with his back to the basket, whether it is starting with the basketball on the perimeter, he can still be effective on the offensive side of the ball. So he brings so much, he does so much damage, or he provides so much impact for these guys offensively, and it's the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. And just as that size causes a lot of trouble offensively, having these three long players in the starting five, it's the same thing on the defensive side of the ball, just having that a lot of length, all of that girth out there. But having all of that out there, it is pretty tough on opposing teams' offenses. And then Aaron Gordon, he's a super athlete. I tell my brother this all the time, man. Aaron Gordon just looks like a super fast big rock out there, and I don't mean that by any harm, but he just looks like super solid, super strong, and it looks like he's a nuisance out there with his physicality. But his ability to be able to guard a big down in the post, his ability to rebound the basketball, his ability to be mobile and athletic enough to guard on the perimeter, all of these things are, just like I said, something else that another one of those things that makes life a lot easier for Nikola Jokic, makes Nikola Jokic a lot more comfortable on the defensive side of the ball. So like I said, man, I love this trade. I love the trade a lot. I thought the Denver Nuggets, they saw that they had an opportunity to be in a situation to win multiple championships, and they went out and got that missing piece. They got that missing ingredient. Once again, that guy is Aaron Gordon, who's once again been playing out of his mind in these NBA playoffs. And I don't think about that trade, it gets talked about enough. Not only, like I said, it got the Denver Nuggets a championship, but it's putting Nikola Jokic, him being out there alongside each other, it's putting him in some very elite NBA conversations. But that's what I wanted to talk about with you guys today. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.